Welcome to this video about identifying special educational needs. The importance of identification. Identifying special educational needs and disabilities, SEND, is one of the most crucial aspects of the graduated approach to SEND. This is embedded in the assess, plan, do, review cycle that encompasses the provision of high-quality adaptive teaching, reasonable adjustments, and interventions. SENCO should ensure that they continually update their understanding of different categories of SEND, including high-incidence needs such as speech and language needs, autism, dyslexia, dyspraxia and ADHD, alongside moderate and severe learning difficulties, other types of specific learning difficulties, mental health conditions, sensory impairments, and physical disabilities. Transition and transfer of information. Crucial information about a new pupil can be gathered through a well-coordinated transition process. This includes liaising with the current school or setting, reviewing information provided on transfer of information forms, attending transition meetings, collating information from surveys completed by parents, pupils and staff, which can be part of induction processes, and reviewing pupil files. If a pupil does not have any identified SEND but is presenting with signs of possible SEND, further work can then be carried out to explore pupils' needs, which we will outline further in this video. A basic assess, plan, do, review approach for class teachers. Often, class teachers will be the first people to notice pupils with possible SEND. With a system where staff can raise concerns and seek advice, teachers should be guided by the SENCO to reflect on their high-quality adaptive teaching strategies and reasonable adjustments. Assess. What have you discovered about the needs that are causing concern? Have you considered formative as well as summative assessment information? Plan. What adaptations do you think could be made to address the needs and concerns? What about helpful strategies or resources? How will the resources be used? And which strengths can you utilize? Do. How long will you give your plan before you decide to review? Are there any tweaks needed along the way? And review. Have things worked or improved for the pupil? Do you need to give things more time? Was your plan implemented consistently? Step 1. Interventions and information. When it's suspected that a pupil may have underlying SEND, the SENCO should ensure that the following work is undertaken as part of the graduated approach. Class teachers receive extra advice about adaptive high-quality teaching strategies and reasonable adjustments that can be applied in lessons based on the pupil's presenting barriers to learning. These approaches should be reviewed and modified over time as necessary. Appropriate interventions are put in place in line with their profile of needs. It is helpful at this point to use provision maps, including class-based provision maps, so that outcomes can be captured. And information from sources that are routinely available in school should start to be collated, including staff views, parent views, pupil views, lesson observations, progress and attainment records, baseline assessments, classwork samples, and behaviour or pastoral support records. Step 2. Screening. Once information has been collated, the SENCO may develop a view that the pupil may require some basic screening for needs in one or more categories of SEND. This includes, most commonly, various types of need across the cognition and learning, communication interaction, and social, emotional, and mental health categories. Screeners include basic checklists that can be completed by or with people who know the pupil well, as well as the pupil themselves if they're able to, and also any available standardized tools that can be purchased by schools. Alongside all other information gathered in the implementation of appropriate interventions, the outcomes of screening work can help the SENCO to establish a rough hypothesis about any underlying SEND that the pupil may have. Step 3. Referrals to assessing professionals. In consultation with the pupil's parents or carers, one or more referrals to external assessing professionals may be submitted. It is important to ensure that referrals are completely in full accordance with referral requirements and that all previous work from steps 1 and 2 is given judicious coverage. There are often long waiting lists for individual assessments, and therefore it is important that the pupil receives SEN support equivalent provision alongside adaptive strategies and reasonable adjustments throughout this window of time. Dyslexia and other specific learning difficulties other than dyspraxia can be assessed by educational psychologists and specialist Level 7 qualified specialist assessors. Dyspraxia is often initially assessed by an occupational therapist and sometimes also a physiotherapist, but is diagnosed by a paediatrician. Moderate learning difficulties are identified by educational psychologists. Speech, language and communication needs are assessed by speech and language therapists. Autism is usually diagnosed by a paediatrician or psychiatrist. ADHD is diagnosed by a paediatrician or psychiatrist. Mental health conditions are identified by psychiatrists and psychologists. And sensory impairments and physical disabilities are diagnosed by various medical specialists. Referrals from SENCOs in this area are very rare. This is the end of this video. You can view more videos on this channel in the Bite-Size series, including other Bite-Size SENCO videos.